Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about KERBAL scam program and where I see it going in the next year, if it goes anywhere. So for anybody who doesn't know, KERBAL Space Program has recently been shut down. Well, by recently I mean about 6-7 months ago, and there has been zero news on what the fuck is going to be happening with KERBAL Space Program. As you can see here, Take-Two shut down Roll 7 and Intercept games as part of its announced plan to lay off 5% of its employees by 2024. They decided to close two studios, with Private Division and being one of them. Inevitably, this has left Kerbal Space Program under developers and publishers that no longer exist. Intercept Games no longer exists anywhere, and thousands of early access purchasers have vented the publisher's silence. The game has still stayed the same price. There hasn't been any updates, as we can see, since June, and we know June is whenever they basically got shut down. Planning to shut down Private Division in November, and I believe Take-Two was shut down at the end of June. There it is. So the layoffs of 70 employees from Take-Two and from Intercept, most of them, I'm guessing, are set to begin in June 28th. If we look here, the last update that KSP received was June 11th. Now, supposedly, Take-Two is obviously the publishers of Grand Theft Auto, someone who clearly has enough money to be able to continue making these games, but just don't see a benefit because it's not rolling in money like shark cards do. So it just really shows you where these companies stand when they come to consumers. They don't care about us, and all they care about is the profit. And the main reason that the profit wasn't there was because they forced this game out a year early after having extreme amounts of problems with the initial development. Basically, a lot of people were saying that Kerbal Space Program was actually being made by the original people when it first started, this Kerbal Space Program too. So we go from the original creators of Kerbal Space Program to Intercept Games and Private Division, to them completely bombing it. As we can tell from all the reviews, 5% of reviews are positive, 32% are positive overall since the game has been released. It has been almost a year or 2 years, almost 2 years now, or like 7-8 months short from 2 years, and nothing's been done. We barely have anything. The roadmap is no longer a thing. As we can see here, it says early access for science, and that was as far as we got. We barely even got science. It's in a worse state than the original Kerbal Space Program. And anybody who's played Kerbal Space Program, as you can see, I also played the first one, and I naively bought into this as well. I've even tried requesting Steam support for the game, and let's see if I can find. I've already been denied once. I've recently submitted another refund request because how is this early access? Nobody's working on it. Nobody says they own the game. It's supposedly bought by an undisclosed person or company, whoever bought all of the IP from Take-Two and Intercept Games. Apparently, they bought all of their stuff. And I'm a firm believer that this comes from not only Kerbal Space Program 2 flopping, But basically everything else Take-Two has done flopping as well. Minus their sports games and GTA, they have done nothing good lately. Take-Two is just constantly shutting things down or putting the least amount of effort into anything that's not GTA 6 or has a sports label on it. So it just really feels like we're being screwed here. And by we, I mean anybody who's ever supported Kerbal Space Program, either 1 or 2, because nobody's even working on the game. I'm sure that if somebody was actually working on the game, that they would have no problem releasing and telling us who bought the rights. So I don't know how I feel about this. I'm 100% sure that I don't want anything to do with Kerbal Space Program or Kerbal Scam Program ever again. They've sullied the waters. The only reason I've ever played Kerbal Space Program 1 was because I was pretty into the mechanics of the game and how intricate and complex it was. I don't have much time to play games like this sometimes, but when I do, I like to be immersed, and it just doesn't feel like anything was ever done besides marketing and trying to calm the community that was in riot because of poor decisions, mostly made by people who ran the game. So I'm not sure what is going to be going on with this, but if you guys have any thoughts or you guys have heard anything new, I try to keep updated on it as much as I can. There's been nothing on it since the new year at all. But if I find out anything or you guys see anything, please be sure to leave it in the comments below. Coming from a very frustrated and angry gamer, and I'm sure many of you also are probably frustrated and angry about this entire thing. So hopefully sooner than later we'll figure out who actually bought Kerbal Space Program. But for now, I know there is a new game coming out. Kerbal Space Program, but with cats, I believe it is. Kitten Space Agency. So, if you guys like Kerbal Space Program, this is supposedly the next best thing. A lot of people have gone over to Kitten Space Agency and are doing work for this company by Rocketworks. The Reddit is not by Rocketworks, but as you can see, the people that are developing it are at least somewhat familiar with what they're doing. So I'm hoping, as this is an active thread or active subreddit, if you guys can see anything as far as like a light at the end of the tunnel, look at Kitten Space Agency. These guys are doing a great job. I'll link the subreddit and their Discord in the description below. If you guys really like the Kerbal Space Program, go ahead and go check out Kitten Space Agency. They're doing great work. So, if anything, that's everything for today, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.